Welcome to another episode of Financially Fit Radio. I'm Cory Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group and Wealth Advisors. If you would like more information about what you hear on today's show, just feel free to give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit our website at safeharboroh.com. And if you visit our website, feel free to drop by our radio page. There you can listen to past episodes as well as subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, or Spotify. Also, feel free to visit our YouTube page at Safe Harbor Retirement Group. And if you, obviously, you can check out our radio show there as well as be able to watch some other videos on different types of financial topics. Today, we're going to talk about, really the understanding the pros and cons of an annuity. But before we kind of dive into that today, let me introduce to you my co-host this week and every week, and that's Tony Shore. Tony, how are you today?
I am great, Cory. Great to be here and good to see you once again. It's a good show, a good topic today. I like it. A lot of people get confused on this topic, and I know you like to clarify once in a while, and things are always changing, so it's important to understand all the different tools out there. Now, I've had a great week. I actually took a trip to Chicago and spent some time there. Got together with an old friend and just did some looking around. Chicago I actually went to Naperville, and I don't know if any of our listeners ever get a chance. And Naperville is the place. Beautiful, beautiful town. It's on the west side. You don't have to go into the city, and it's on a river. They have a river walk with amazing restaurants. I had the best steak I think I've ever had at a place called Hugo's. Hugo's Frog Steak and Seafood. Excellent. But other than that, I've just been keeping busy. Got home and yesterday just had to get some chores done around the house because I was gone Friday and Saturday. How about you? What have you been doing?
Actually, I had a pretty calm weekend, Tony. Didn't really do too much. Got some stuff done around the house.
Good.
It was pretty nice out. So I was able to go out there and do some things that actually outside, which is, kind of odd here for February.
Yeah, I actually got outside a little bit yesterday and worked in the garage with the garage door open, took the dog on a walk. It was really nice, wasn't it?
It was nice. One of the things that I also did, since it's been so nice out, I also got my snowblower out and tested it out to make sure that was going to work. Seems like anytime it gets really nice out, that means something's coming and it's not going to be good.
You think? Oh, don't. I don't know. You getting the snowblower ready? I don't know. Yeah, mine's been sitting there a while. I suppose I should do the same thing, but I just assume, I guess we're not having winter this year. So
well, it might be according to the groundhog out there, Pete, it looks like we're going to have a spring early. So
I hope so. Puxatawny Phil, the groundhog.
Yeah, Pete, I guess I said Pete. I guess it's Phil. Yeah.
Yeah, the groundhog. Yeah, I don't know. He's not great at predicting, but hopefully he's right this year. I'm hoping myself because I don't want to have to snowblow the driveway.
Well, more than anything, it gives you hope.
Yeah, you're right. It gives you hope. And you know what? You don't want to just ride on hope alone, though, when it comes to your finances. You want to know. You don't want to just have hope. You want to know that you're going to meet those goals. And, I know a lot of people talk about annuities, the A word. They say it's a bad word. It gets, I think there's a lot of confusion out there. So it's good to go over the pros and cons of annuities. Where do you want to start on this topic today?
First of all, Tony, let's just kind of talk about what is an annuity. I think that's important, for our listeners to be able to understand that. And basically, at the very lowest level, what you're really doing is giving money to an insurance company. And, it can be a lump sum or it can be over a period of time, depending on the type of annuity that you want to be able to do. And when you give them that money, what they're going to do in return is they're going to give that back to you at some period of time. There's two ways that you can actually do that. You can also, you can do it so it's going to accumulate, which means it's going to grow tax deferred. And then, if you do a 5 or 6 or a 10-year annuity after those 10 years, then you have access to all that money. The nice part is it grows tax deferred. If you're using non-qualified funds, then of course you're not going to pay any taxes until you actually take a withdrawal for that. So there's some benefits there if you're trying to maybe just grow and accumulate. The second thing that you can do with that is you can actually use that for income at some point in time. So it allows you to create your own pension is the way I usually try to relate that, to a client. Now, the most important part is there's all, obviously there's different types of annuity, or not different types, but there's all kinds of companies that offer these type of annuities, right? So I think the best thing that you can do is work with a fiduciary, which means they're going to always work in your best interest. But more importantly, they're going to go out, and this is what we do at Safe Harbor, is we're going to try to find the right type of annuity that meets your needs. We're an independent financial advisor here, which means we have access to different types of companies. And depending on your situation, we're going to find the right type of annuity, again, that's going to fit your needs, short term or long term, for your overall retirement plan.
Right. And we'll probably get into this, but you're also going to help them find the best deal because, there are some top rated insurance companies and it's gotten very competitive. So one might have a really good deal where financially it's a fantastic deal. There's very little cost to you and the benefits are great. Other annuities you don't want because they might be overly expensive or they have fees. And so you help your clients avoid unnecessary fees and really get the maximum out of that. And if you don't have a pension, if you just have a 401k or these lump sums, this is a good option. And people are like, oh, annuity, I don't know if I want that. Well, Social Security and pensions are basically annuities. So that's what you're doing. You're helping create, and some annuities can offer lifetime income that kicks in at a certain point for your retirement. So you're going to get this amount each year from that annuity or each month from that annuity as long as you live. And that's a good feeling, isn't it?
It is. And really what we're really talking about, Tony, is a balance.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is you want balance and you want diversification within your overall portfolio.
Right.
So it's a good opportunity for you to be able to, maybe put a portion of your money into an annuity, still have money invested in stocks. And then, of course, the third way is, maybe life insurance or some other type of vehicle. But really what we're talking about is diversification within products. A lot of people think I should be, diversified on how I, invest, whether it's bonds or whether it's stocks. But you also have to be able to look at, what is going to be the best opportunity for you to be able to maybe provide some type of guaranteed income in life, but maybe just to be able to grow your portfolio. When interest rates have risen over the last, say, 2 years, actually these products have gotten a lot better. So it's a great way to also be able to actually move maybe some of what a lot of people think of their safe money, which is bond money, right? And if you really think about it, I think everyone realized back in 2022 that bonds weren't safe. When they started to raise interest rates, bonds, for 2022 were down about 12% for the year. So that's not safe money.
No.
And what nice part about an annuity, we'll talk about the different types here in a second, but it allows you to, potentially outgrow or outpace what a bond can do. And more than anything, what it does is it provides you the best type of diversification because the ones that we actually use here at Safe Harbor, you can't lose any money when the market's negative, and obviously you can make money when the market's positive.
Yeah, and that's good. There are some great options out there. So I know there are both pros and cons, and it all depends on the type of annuity. You mentioned there are a lot of different types of annuities out there, and that's what this show is all about. I know this is something you help your clients look at, and you don't want to work with a financial professional that takes something off the table. You look at everything. You work with your clients on investments, for stocks, you look at bonds, you look at REITs and all the different options out there for them to figure out what's going to be best to meet their goals and their own personal time horizon, right?
That's exactly right. Just like we customize an income plan or a financial plan for a client, we're going to be able to customize what type of annuity is going to be best for you. That's going to meet your long-term goals that you're trying to accomplish for retirement.
Sure.
So, when we start talking about annuity, again, there's three things that it can do. One is it can definitely be able to provide lifetime income.
Okay.
Your savings can grow tax deferred, but also it can also provide some type of legacy to your heirs as well. I think that's really important. I think a lot of people used to think that if I put money into an annuity, then if something happened to me or if something happened to my spouse, then the insurance company actually takes the money, right? And I think the old way of being able to do that is most people used to what they call annuitize the annuity. And when I say annuitize, that means you're actually getting a lifetime income, and then you're kind of betting on who's going to, are you going to outlive that money or not? So you're kind of betting on how long you're going to live. And then there's a chance that the insurance company could take the money. But the way that we actually do those now with lifetime income riders, that entire amount of money is going to be spent either by you, by receiving it in income. If there's any money left over, then it's going to be able to go to your beneficiaries.
Wow.
So I think that's a key
great.
thing, for clients.
Yeah,
now,
that's huge.
Yeah, it is definitely huge. And so let's kind of talk about the different types of annuities. And first of all, I want to kind of talk about the ones that we really don't recommend, and those are variable annuities. Now, there are some pros with variable annuities. Variable annuities allows you to invest into the stock market. However, you do have a little bit of diversification with that because you invest what they call sub accounts. Those sub accounts could be stocks, it could be bonds, it could be mutual funds. So that allows you to obviously get some type of returns when the market does do well. Now, your money also grows tax deferred until you actually take that money out. That's when you actually start paying taxes on that. Now, the biggest con that we have with this, and there's really two of them. The first one is it's variable. And what I mean by that is it's variable based upon how the market performs. So in a lot of cases, you don't have a downside, when the market does go down. The second part of that is the fees and charges can be quite high.
So, but you mean, I think you meant with a variable, you do have a downside. In other words, when the market goes down, you can lose money in a variable annuity, right?
You can lose money.
Your principal is not protected.
That's correct. The principal is not protected.
Okay.
So if the market does go down,
that's
a huge con. And also associated with that is you have fees established with that as well.
And they're usually higher than any other type of annuity.
They are higher. In some, I'm not going to sit there and say they're all, all high today, but a lot of the ones that we do review, they could have fees of up to 3 to 4%.
Ouch.
Right. And the way that we always look at it, if you want to invest in the market and pay a lot lower fee.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what that's really what we kind of look at. Then the second type of annuity we'll kind of talk about is a fixed annuity. You might hear them called MYGAs, but really all you're doing is you're giving your money for the insurance company, say for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you're going to be guaranteed a certain type of fixed rate. So right now, for example, we have MYGAs or fixed annuities that are actually, paying, right anywhere from around, say 4.5 to 5.5% on an annual basis.
Yeah, you can get a 5% MYGA or fixed annuity, and that's and you can get it at a longer term than you can a CD. So that's a good option.
That's exactly right. And the one thing, so obviously your principal's protected there. You're going to get a guaranteed type of interest rate, and with a lot of these type of annuities too, if you want some type of liquidity, a lot of times they allow you to pull the interest out per year, or they allow you to take a 10% per year penalty withdrawal. So again, you need to make sure that you're, again, working with an advisor so they can provide you the different types of annuities. And if you do want liquidity at option, there, obviously there are some of those. You usually get a little bit higher interest rate, Tony, if you actually don't have any liquidity, if for that 3, 4, or 5 years that you're actually doing. But again, it's something I think that you need to be able to, be aware of. It's very similar to like a CD. The nice part though is that grows tax deferred, so you're not going to pay any interest until you actually take money out of that annuity. Right. Unlike a CD where you might get a 1099 every year for the interest that's actually accumulated. So there's a little bit of savings there.
Yeah, that's interesting. And that's a good point. You don't get 1099 typically on the MYGA. And right now I know because my dad looked at it. He inherited a little bit of money from his dad. And he was looking at CDs because that's where my grandpa had it. and he could get the same rate as he could get in a MIGA, but it was a much shorter term. The longest he could find was 17 months, right?
Right.
To get that 5% or not, for something. But in a MIGA, he could get the 5% in like a 3 or a 5. And so, you're going to lock in that rate for a longer time period.
That's exactly right. That's one thing that it definitely allows you to do. Now, there might be some individuals out there that want to be able to have income immediately, right?
Right.
So we have what they call immediate annuities. And, one of the things I was actually looking at too before the show, Tony, is I have access to kind of see what people are searching for.
Sure.
I'm talking about, on Google searches and things like that. And, immediate annuities are pretty high, but they also call them instant annuities. And I haven't actually heard instant annuities, but a lot of people are actually Googling instant annuities, which is really the same thing as an immediate annuity.
Right. I've never heard it described as an instant annuity either.
Either have I, but I can tell you right now in Central Ohio area, last month there's like 9,900 people that actually Googled instant annuities.
Wow. They must have heard it somewhere, or somebody called it that in an article or on TV, and all these people are going, oh, maybe I want that, right?
Well, yes. So whether it's an immediate or an instant annuity,
Right,
at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're giving money, and then you're going to start receiving income immediately, right? So you know exactly what you're going to be able to get. You can do it for life. You can do a 20-year certain. You can do a 20-year certain for life. There's all different types of options. And when you actually sit down with an advisor, they're going to be able to, make sure they're giving you the best type of way to receive that income over your lifetime. Now, what that allows you to do is that allows you from a longevity. It gives you longevity protection.
Sure.
You can receive that amount of income for as long as you live. So that's a great way to be able, to generate income, lifetime income with that immediate type of annuity. Now, obviously, depending on the type of annuity that you do have, or the type of income that you do receive for that annuity, it might, you might have loss of liquidity because now you get a guaranteed income for that period of time. And, there's also potential maybe for some type of inflation risk as well, because with a lot of these immediate annuities, it's not going to increase over time, but that's just kind of like a pension as well for most people out there anyway. The nice part about it is it gives you guaranteed income, and, you can count on that month in and month out.
Well, yeah, and that's huge. And obviously, it's really important to understand these things. A lot of people, you don't want to get into something that you're going to need the money in 2 years, but it's a 5-year term, and you want to avoid penalties, and you want to avoid large fees. And there are some great options out there with little to no fees and ways to have some liquidity. Or if you have money that you're not going to need for 5 years, this sounds like a great option.
Yeah, but just like anything else, I talked about balance a little bit earlier, Tony.
Yeah.
And really what we're talking about there is, you want to make sure that you're not putting too much money into an annuity. And I think that's where it's kind of got a bad rap in the past, is you actually had advisors or agents that just put too much of their money into an annuities. Again, it's a balance. Whether it should be 30, 40, or 50% of the money that the money that you have in your savings. Again, when you work with the right type of an advisor and a fiduciary advisor, we're going to be able to make sure that we're putting that balance in, because you do need liquidity. You can't put too much money into these type of products. Things are going to happen in life, right? If you own a home, you might have to repair your roof, or air conditioner goes out, washer and dryer. Maybe you need a new car. So there's a right type of balance that you need to find, and the advisor that you work with should be able to show you what that balance is, because I do firmly believe that everyone should have a portion of their money into an annuity. It just depends on, how much and really what you're trying to accomplish, with your overall retirement plan.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. And so everybody's situation is different, but it sounds like a fixed annuity is a great option for a lot of people out there. Is that what's the next type of annuity you want to talk about? I mean, I hear more about fixed indexed annuities than I do any other type of annuity right now.
That's exactly right. And that's really the types of annuities that we really focus on at Safe Harbor for our clients, because that fits most of their needs. But what a fixed indexed annuities allows you to do, and this is probably the biggest one, is it allows you to have principal protection. But here's the key of it. In a lot of these cases, you get to actually invest into like an S&P 500 index or some type of index within the market, and you're going to get participation rates based off of that. Now, they're not going to in most cases, they're not going to give you 100% of what the S&P does, but they're going to be able to give you a decent return. So the nice part about it is when the market goes up, you're going to make money. But more importantly, when the market is negative, you're not going to be able to lose any money. And one of the things that we like to say here at Safe Harbor is, zero is our hero, right? And really what we're meaning by that is, yeah, the market was down 10 or 15 or 20%, like in 2022 was down 20%, but anybody that actually invested in a fixed indexed annuity made zero. So that's the nice part about it. They didn't lose anything. They just made zero.
Drop by 20%.
That's exactly right.
Zero, and their principal was protected.
That's exactly right.
And then they can lock in any gains they get. Year over year, it locks in the gains each year, right?
That's the nice part about it. Most of them have what we call a year-to-year or an annual index, right? And all that means is you look at today, you check that 1 year from now, and if the market's up, you make money. If the market's down, you don't, you make zero, but then it resets at whatever that value is. So, anytime the market's negative, you're going to be able to buy low. That's the nice part about it, which gives you the best opportunity to make money the following year.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how that works, and that's why that's such a popular vehicle with all the baby boomers that have been retiring. I know it's one of the most popular retirement vehicles out there, and so there has to be a reason. And I think people have heard, people talk negatively about annuities, and they've heard about variable annuities or annuities the way they used to be. It's just within the last 20 years that they've really perfected, and they keep improving the fixed index annuity to make it more and more appealing and more worthwhile to the consumer or to the investor, right?
That's exactly right. Right now, the products have some of the highest participation rates we've had in the last, 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
Just because of interest rates.
Yeah.
When interest rates have gone up, these products have gotten better. And, the other side of that is again, you can use it for just growth, right? The nice part is it grows tax deferred. And again, it doesn't, with all these annuities we're talking about, it doesn't matter whether it's Roth money or IRA money or non-qualified money. That's just the type, that's how it's going to be taxed. You can still put those type of funds into an annuity. And of course, the one of the things that we use that a lot of times for too, Tony, is for income planning as well, because there's a lot of these fixed indexed annuities that they're going to give you a guaranteed amount of growth on what we call your income account. That income account is what's used to be able to pay you.
Sure.
So right now you might be getting 7 or 8% guaranteed growth per year until you trigger your lifetime income. At that point, it stops growing, but now you've turned it into a vehicle for you to be able to receive that lifetime income.
Yeah, it's another check in addition to Social Security that will be there, right?
Right.
And that's what helps give us peace of mind and make sure we're going to be able to sustain a comfortable lifestyle in retirement, is having money that will be there each month, that isn't tied to, hey, if it's another 2022 or bonds and stocks tank and fall 20%, I'm not going to have to worry because I have this money over here that covers my bills that I know will be there.
That's exactly right. And one of the things we'll look at, of course, is say you want to retire in 1 to 3 years. Well, we're going to be able to try to find the right type of annuity that's going to maximize your income during those 1 to 3
Sure.
years.
Sure.
Maybe you can wait 5 to 7 or 7 to 10. No matter when we're starting to, develop that income plan for you, we're going to find the right type of annuity that meets your needs.
Yeah.
Again, we're an independent. We have access to a lot of different types of annuity companies out there, and we're going to find the best type of fixed indexed annuity that can meet your needs.
Okay. Well, I think that's great, but we're out of time for today's show. Cory, is there anything else you wanted to add before we go?
Hey, for our listeners out there, feel free to give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can visit our website at safeharboroh.com. Again, we're here to help and guide you. If you want to talk about annuities, we can find the best one, make sure, but more important, we can give you an education on the way that they do work and the way it's going to actually fit within your retirement plan. We can also provide you a financial plan if you don't have one, or if you do have one, we'll be the second set of eyes just to be able to make sure that you're going to have the retirement that you want. All you have to do is give us a call at 614-760-0670, or visit us online at safeharboroh.com. And just remember, all meetings are complimentary and there's no financial obligation.
All right. Well, Cory, great show today, listeners. That does it for today's episode of Financially Fit Radio.
Join us next week for another episode of Financially Fit Radio.